On this day when we should have been celebrating, I was mourning the death of my daughter's murder. Ask Troy Morton, the Penobscot County Sheriff, why my daughter is dead. I'm going to let you all know right now that this all started right here in Maine. My daughter and I are the owners of this property. That means my daughter was a resident of Garland, Maine. And when she disappeared, I turned it in to Sheriff's Department, Troy Morton and his deputies. Troy Morton threatened me and told me he would get me for harassment if I sent any more paperwork to him about my missing daughter who has been sex trafficked. We have a case, 992489-BS. Well, what's going on with that case? You got to know that Troy Morton is part of the FBI, and that's an FBI case. Why is my daughter missing? Why did I get arrested to try to silence me? It didn't silence me. I told everybody in that jail what had happened. They tried to poison me. I got sick. Yes, I did. I wasn't the only one that got poisoned October of 2023 at the Somerset County Jail by Dale Lancaster's little do-girls and do-boys, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, January 6th of 2021, my daughter and I went to a meeting with Northeast Kingdom Human Services, which is a mental health facility, outpatient, where they continuously pushed my daughter onto medications, wrong medications, causing her many, many health problems, okay? Leading to she had seizures. She was diagnosed March 7th, 2023, Mercy Hospital, Portland, Maine, with traumatic epilepsy. Everybody knows it, even Stephen Charles. Stephen Charles was Facebooking with my daughter. He was on this FaceTime chat with my daughter March 7th when she went in to go to the bathroom. He was on her phone that was in the back seat. Now, that was on the way to the hospital. Mind you, February 10th, we turned into Wilton PD a 2.5 hour recorded conversation to Wilton PD Stephen Charles that the town manager says he turned over to the FBI about the sex trafficking and the drug trafficking, which led to my daughter being taken into Safe Voices in Lewiston, set up with a so-called Uber driver that picked her up and was to take her to Vermont to see her son, and instead held her hostage, raped her, and beat her. And there's a case, April 28th and April 29th, Vermont State Police, Derby Barracks. My daughter was found. I have all video and audio recording conversations with my daughter the whole time until transport from hospital in Vermont to Maine was supposed to happen from University of Vermont Hospital, brought to Mercy Hospital in Portland, and instead she was brought to Maine Medical Center. From there, I was contacted. I gave them the directions to take my daughter to Oakland to the apartment. Well, that didn't happen either. They dropped her off at the railroad tracks in a desolate area by a homeless shelter in Waterville on the other side of the town. She had no idea where she was. She couldn't contact me. Um, she ended up in contact with the other side of her family that told her that if they wanted her or she wanted their help, she had to put paperwork against me and have no contact. Well, they took her to a hospital and had her put in an involuntary hold 60 days while I was out on the streets begging and searching for my daughter with no fucking idea where she was. And lo and behold, she was shot up with fucking medications and withheld at St. Mary's Hospital. When she was let out, that same fucking side of the family left her there to fend for herself. She was picked up at a park. She was held. It's all reported to Lewiston PD. She was brought home to me. Again, I was able to find my daughter. I made provisions for her to get home. She got home to our land right here in Garland, Maine, and the fucking state police were called for a well-being check on my property. They talked to Bree. They talked to me. We went to the hospital. She had a medical exam. I've got the paperwork. She had been sexually assaulted. And we gave the whole statement. So what happened to that? Well, you got to ask the Mayo Hospital in Dover Foxcroft. why mandated reporters hide such great information about sex traffickers, because they're all involved with the police, the politicians, the judges, the attorneys, and they're all involved with Janet Mills' family. Run by. That's the state of Maine for you. So, knowing that public safety is run by Janet Mills' family is involved in a lot of murders and disappearances. They've all known about the sex trafficking and been involved in the cocaine dealing, as well as the fact that after we had that meeting January 6th in 2021, Brianna and I went down to get our medical records from Florida, and she was picked up by Reuben Colston. Well, Reuben Colston happens to be a sex trafficker. She had gone to a friend's house, and I was waiting for her and waiting until this black guy named Reuben Colston drops my daughter off. Not only did that happen, but Vermont was calling and threatening Brianna that she'd never see her daughter again, which would be the sperm donor to my grandson, and yelling at her and giving her all kinds of false allegations, saying that she was setting something up to take her son and blah, blah. It was all a tort control. We didn't even have a chance to get our medical records. It was in the middle of the night when these phone calls started. We drove right back home because Brianna was frantic and I wanted to get her home so that she knew that her baby was safe and people would stop talking about she was doing anything wrong. All we did was go to get medical records to prove that my daughter and myself have been victims, and we are not drug addicts. We don't do drugs. However, the mental health, they like to push drugs onto people. So, leading from there through February, this sperm donor of my grandson kept on calling in false reports. March, I get hit with misdemeanors and arrested. Then I end up getting locked out of my home, harassed, terrorized, got a harassment order. That didn't stop him. And Brianna and I get kicked out of our homes. We lost everything. My grandson gets taken and given to the perpetrator that was having sex with my daughter, age 12, 13. And let me tell you something. It's all in all the paperwork and reports. So why is it that my daughter went missing? It's to hide that information I just told you. 12, 13 years old. This guy was 11 years older and still is 11 years older than my daughter's age, and was having sex with her when she was 12, 13 years old. Noted in all the DCF records, noted in every state police report, every fucking county and town, every organization knows about it. So why are all you mandated reporters hiding information about perpetrators and predators? Well, let me tell you something, because you're all involved in it, obviously. So I moved to Maine. I buy my uncle's house. Well, lo and behold, my uncle goes to jail. He's represented by John O'Donnell. He dies in jail, never makes it to court. I'm key witness to the fact that uh, there was nothing and no reason why my uncle should have been arrested on a violation of probation. There's no reason why Somerset County should have been illegally searching my home, entering my property. Everybody knew that I had bought it from my uncle, all the neighbors, the relatives, and the police, because Deputy Howard had showed up on a Sunday, and he was told by my uncle as well as Timmy Dickey that I had bought that property. So he left, and then the shit started again. Brianna gets found. She had been held again. Like I said, they took my grandson and they took Bree, locked us out of our apartments, did all kinds of fucking crazy shit to us. Over the summer, I busted my ass getting the house ready and looking for my daughter. Calls every day, on the phone all day long, trying to find my daughter. Nobody would say anything, but everybody knew, and they were all fucking laughing. So when Brianna got out of a medical involuntary psychiatric hold again, over in Rutland Regional, mind you, while she was in there were calls and reports of sexual assaults that happened at the psychiatric ward, verified, and Brianna gave her own statements back in March of 2023. March 9th, we called Rutland Regional. We talked to high risk management. And what happened then? Things got worse, didn't they? Because where was my daughter now? Well, it was confirmed January 18th, 2024, that Social Security has my date and my daughter's Social Security number. her birth, and her name has been coded and depleted, as well as it shows up on her banking account. So, with that being said, Lake County Sheriff's Department, Maine State Police, Somerset County, Penobscot County, all of them involved, the FBI agent, every single one of them, and you too. You're all involved in the disappearance of my daughter. And why do I say you? Because you all knew, and not one of you motherfuckers picked up the phone to try to save a life or make a report to do the right thing. So when it happens to you, I don't know what to tell you, but don't be calling me.